Boxing is a lot of things. Respect.
I'm vain. I know I'm great, but can I tell you something? In this situation, every head must bow, every tongue must confess. This is the greatest of all time.
Boxing is George Foreman winning the heavyweight title at the age of 45. Mike Tyson legendarily getting revenge from Muhammad Ali against Larry Holmes. How about Buster Douglas sitting at his mother's deathbed promising that he would defeat the undefeatable Mike Tyson?
Crediting it to the fact that the death of your mother just what? Focused your mind what?
Muhammad Ali, then Cassius Clay, winning his first heavyweight championship against Sonny Liston. But boxing is many things. In that same famous fight, Ali in his corner thought that Liston had put some irritants on the end of his gloves to get in Ali's eyes to blind him. Or, how about soaking a fighter's wraps in plaster, while also removing a layer of padding from the inside of the glove? That happened on June 16th, 1983, when promising boxer Billy Collins stepped into the ring to face Luis Resto. Resto was jailed for more than 2 years after being found guilty for assault and criminal possession of a weapon. Cement hands. There's an entire documentary known as Assault in the Ring dedicated to this story. Boxing is still all about respect and giving it your all no matter what. Kind of like Dooku Kim did in 1982 against Ray Marciano.
Just minutes after the fight ended, Kim fell into a coma and was taken on a stretcher from Caesar's Palace to the Desert Springs Hospital. Doctors discovered a subdermal hematoma and performed emergency brain surgery. It wasn't enough. Dooku Kim's mother, who had flown to the U.S. to spend the final moments by her son's side before he died by suicide 3 months later by drinking a bottle of pesticide. Referee Richard Green died by suicide on July 1st, 1983.
When I fought for righteous reasons. I fought to be a world champion for my father, to fight for the honor of my city of Youngstown, Ohio. But after that fight, it took the love away from me, it took the honor away from me. To me, there was nothing righteous about it. But it's an honorable sport, you know? To me, it's nothing more pure than you have one man facing another man and challenging himself physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, every which way. But that night, it took all the honor, it took all the love, it took everything away from me that night.
But then there's shit like this. Or this.
Doing that, he's gonna have to get it. Oh, wow.
Fight Night Champion is a game designed around exploring boxing in its entirety. Not just the good, but also the dark side. Showcasing the violence and the corruption that the sport is filled with to this day, while also exploring what makes this sport special. From the tactics used in the ring, to showcasing the will and desire it takes to actually be a champion. Fight Night Champion is probably my favorite boxing game ever made, with a roster that includes some of the greatest boxers to ever do it, except for Floyd Mayweather. This video will be all about the amazing gameplay, the multiplayer, and the literally legendary roster, while focusing on the story, or the movie, something that was so amazing for its time EA attempted to recreate in every sports franchise, with mixed and some embarrassing results.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
I was waiting for you to say it, man. Hey, look.
Hiring some of the best talents Hollywood could provide. But why is this special? Well, let's get into it. The Fight Night franchise was originally released in 1985 on the Commodore 64 and Atari 8-bit. Then again on the Apple II in 1986 and the Atari 7800 in 1989. Wait, what the fuck is this? Alright. The Fight Night franchise actually started with Fight Night 2004, released on April 5th, surprisingly, 2004 on the PS2. The Fight Night franchise was a replacement of sorts for EA's previous boxing series, Knockout Kings. produced for various platforms yearly between 1998 and 2003. But that's still not EA's first boxing game, because that would be Foes of Ali. The reason Fight Night overtook these other games and became EA's staple boxing franchise was because of the full spectrum punch control system, changing the boxing game genre from button mashing arcade games to realistic depictions of the sport. This is the only game franchise I've ever seen never go downhill in quality. Now, if that is the case, why hasn't there been a new Fight Night released in this decade? Most of this will be speculation, but it has a lot to do with money and popularity of the sport itself. Floyd Money Mayweather, for starters, he didn't want to be in the game, it seemed. Why? Money. And a lot of boxers probably won't make Floyd Mayweather money, no matter how much some will try. That and boxing's massive decline in popularity from the corruption and politicking of fighters. Just look at Mayweather versus Pacquiao, forcing boxing fans to wait 5 years and 50 days for their fight. This is when I personally stopped watching the sport. Hell, even the Fight Night games were more popular than the sport itself. Let's not forget the massive incline in popularity of the UFC. What? The sport's most popular fighters are actually from this decade, alongside all the wild shit that's going along with it? UFC 4 creative director Brian Hayes was the man who talked about how unpopular boxing was while moving on from Fight Night to make the UFC games. Now, because of the horrible deals that most UFC fighters are dealt from the great Dana White, Dana White is great at screwing over the fighters while entertaining fans and holding back the corruption that eroded boxing for years. Dana White has become the Nintendo of combat sports. The brand will always come first for good and bad reasons. Because of all this, you don't have to make deals with individual fighters, at least from what I've read. EA can do what they've done with football and basketball and just make the games. I mean, you can do stupid shit like have Bruce Lee as a cameo in one of the games. But Brian Hayes has said that he would love to make a new Fight Night if he could. But even he can't seem to get the game made. The game's creation was paused due to EA Canada's decision to temporarily pause its core development in order to prioritize the next EA sports game, UFC. Fight Night Champion, up until recently, is the pinnacle of all boxing games, and this isn't hyperbole. Now that's a strong statement to make about anything, but the Fight Night series revolutionized boxing games through the modified full spectrum punch control system. Originally, the full spectrum punch control system worked by doing the motions with the right stick, so you felt like you were throwing that punch. Problem was, it was slow, and everyone that wanted to win just switched their controls to buttons to be more efficient online. So full spectrum punching became a cool novelty in previous Fight Night titles. From my experience. In Champion, that changes with the implementation of simplified motions to streamline the combat, allowing combo potential to skyrocket, combined with the power modifier button, allowing you to haymaker someone like Mike Tyson, then mixing up the other boxers by going for the body and switching to the head. You'll need to use every part of your controller to use real-life boxing tactics to win. That involves head and feet movement, the only thing more important than how you punch. There's a lot of movement tech in Fight Night. Being able to quickly dash or take a quick step in a fight, allowing you to retreat, get in, or cut off the ring from your opponent. The next important thing is head movement. The last thing you want to be is standing still. Unless you're all out of NyQuil. Now, while quarter circle movements were removed from the full spectrum punching, it was added to the movement. When you do quarter circles, you'll combine your head movement with your movement, meaning you can dodge your head while moving forward or backwards. So now, you might not get knocked out while moving in on a damaged opponent.
He may be able to survived the round, but he has gone down now.
All of this is integral to compete in the 3 major modes: Fight Now, Legacy Mode, and the game's namesake, Champion. Fight Now is just a versus mode for fighting the CPU or a friend, using legendary or custom-made fighters. Legacy Mode is a long-running series regular, allowing you to make custom characters or take a legendary fighter and train them up from nothing to champion of their respective weight class. Then we got the reason I'm doing this video, Champion Mode, emphasizing what makes boxing great and awful through one of the best campaigns ever put into a sports game that's not an anime game. This is all helped by the presentation, one of the best in any sports game, representing the toughness and the grit that it takes to be a fighter, with the creators obsessively making sure each muscle moved correctly and flexed the right way with every punch, having professional boxers mocap for them to get down every movement, with the bruising and swelling showcasing how bad someone's damaged, showing people running out of breath as they get tired. They're so confident in their presentation that you can usually play this game without the UI and still be successful, knowing where to attack to increase damage on your opponent and what to protect on yourself to stop them from knocking you out. All this from looking at your face and theirs. But that's not the only thing they got right. Just look at the locations. With boxing stadiums big and small, well known to where the hell am I? And let's not forget getting iconic announcers like Joe Tessitore, Teddy Atlas, and Al Murdoch, allowing for every event to feel real because these are the guys announcing the fights 10 years ago. I mean, imagine watching a UFC fight without Joe Rogan. That's how iconic these guys were. Fight Night Champion captures the spirit of boxing at its best and worst aspects, capturing the skill, talent, and willpower that it takes to become a great fighter, with training, dedication, and overcoming adversity. There's no other depiction of boxing that I can think of that illustrates these points in a cinematic way, except for Hajime no Ippo. That also illustrates the corruption, like a flesh-eating virus corroding the sport for the last 20 years. Fight Night Champion is all about boxing to its core, with you actually learning boxing, to an extent.
This is boxing after all. It doesn't matter that you got knocked down. You can get him back in the next round. That's what champions do, Andre. They get back up.
Waking up on the floor of a prison boxing ring because you got headbutted.
Hit me with his head.
In an unregulated, unsanctioned, no-holds-barred match that's just kill or be killed. You need to knock him out by any means necessary. But winning fights in prison isn't all that it's cracked up to be.
Congratulations on your victory, boy. You look real good out there. We're really fucking impressed. Welcome to the real world, baby! Nighty night, bitch.
This is Andre Bishop, and how did he get here, you ask? Well, you're about to find out. Through a flashback, experiencing the final fight of Andre Bishop's amateur career. Headgear and all. This is a points match. It's all about getting the high score, landing clean hits, and I got knocked out because I got clumsy. Twice. After rematching, I began to pace the fight better. I kept him out with my jabs and giving him straights, adding to my point total. Winning one of Andre's first major accomplishments, an Olympic gold medal, celebrating with his future heavyweight star brother, the same night as another future heavyweight world champion, Isaac Frost. Practicing for your first professional fight, Andre meets corrupt promoter D.L. McQueen and his daughter Megan. They're trying to recruit you and fail, but Megan likes you and gives you a tip for your next fight.
Lucius Palmer likes to run, but he'll get aggressive at the end of each round. He's good at stealing fights.
To win your pro debut fight, you have to use the real-world tactics of cutting off the ring and pressuring him, pressing him up against the rope so he can't run. If you've ever watched a real match before, you'll notice that fighters are always trying to walk in front of the other fighter to the location they're trying to go to. You'll also use hooks to stop the opposing fighter from moving that way. If somebody is walking to your left, you want to go to your left while throwing heavy left-handed punches to stop them in front of you, while always moving forward till they get into the corner or against the ropes. This is a strategy that George Foreman did to win the heavyweight championship of the world at the age of 45.
I was able to get a body punch in, just one body shot.
He threw that left hook just to move this guy. I gotta get him to move this way. If he moves this way, I'm not gonna be able to land this punch.
I would hurt them. I'd use the old cattle tactics.
And this similar strategy works wonders here. Utilizing this strategy can lead to opening up your opponent's defenses or opening up their face. Landing enough clean and powerful hits leads to swelling up of the eyes, or even worse, cuts over the eye. That's when the real evil shit starts to take place. When someone's eye starts to swell up, it will reduce their vision, and the same goes for blood getting into their eyes. This is very important because if the damage gets bad enough, the fight will be stopped. But that's not the worst of it. See, a popular saying in combat sports is nothing hurts more than the punch you can't see. So when somebody's bloody or swollen, the best thing you can do is take advantage. The next important fight is against a left-handed juggernaut. You have a few options in this fight, utilizing the tactics that our opponent used in the last match, staying far away from his left hand, or just go for a 50-50, just swing at each other until one of you stops getting up. This strategy usually won't work, especially on higher difficulties, but it's so fun to try. This is Andre's first test and one of the hardest fights in the game. As long as you keep moving, staying away from his left, you'll be fine.
Look at that! Oh, and he goes.
This fight is still rough though. Gus, your longtime trainer, was also your father's trainer. And after he died, he took you and your brother in and trained you to be boxers like your father. McQueen tries to steal both Bishop brothers from Gus by using this information. When D.L. McQueen doesn't get his way, someone always pays for it. Because of McQueen's involvement, the judges aren't even watching the fight. The only way to win this match is by knockout, and knockout alone.
Kid, the judges ain't even watching this fight. I can see it in their eyes. McQueen fucked us. We're not winning any decisions tonight. Means you gotta knock this guy on the canvas. Understand? Knock him on his ass.
Judges being bought off or easily being influenced on how they're judging the match is not something unheard of. I mean, even the Mayweather De La Hoya fight, there were some questions on why it was a split decision, even from Mayweather's father.
Hey man, if you go by point system, you're gonna have to give it to Oscar. If you go by point system.
Thank you. Jim?
Let's just say it happens a lot.
Nice place.
The gym's closed, fellas.
We didn't come here to work out.
I thought they were McQueen's thugs, but they were cops. Dirty cops on McQueen's payroll.
Wrong Wrong fucking move, kid. Wrong fucking move.
So now, Andre is in prison with nothing to do but work out and fight in no rules prison boxing matches. No rounds, no rest. You fight till the other man can't get up or quits, if he's lucky. Matches have no rules, and I mean no rules. With how cool prison fights are, I'm surprised it wasn't another game mode. But also considering how hard it is to get Mike Tyson to give his likeness to any gaming company, I'm assuming he wouldn't have liked to be in that game mode. While all of this is going on, your brother comes to visit you and tells you he's working with McQueen for a chance at the heavyweight world championship against the new, undefeated champ, Isaac Frost. Fucking Andre and Gus over in the process. Losing everything from his youth to his career, he gets a job working for his brother as an assistant, running into McQueen once again.
That's what I like to see. A brother taking care of his brother. Andre, welcome back.
Hey, Mr. McQueen.
Raymond? Andre, you remember Mr. Franco?
Andre.
Mr. Franco has retired from the force. Works for me now.
Must be a big change for you.
Hope you learned to stay out of trouble.
No, he's learned his lesson.
Megan likes Andre, especially after he beats the hell out of one of her pros in a sparring match. By the way, you do this by knocking him out with body blows, since you can't risk giving him a concussion. So you just have to break this man in half. Now, everyone thinks Andre's a bad motherfucker, and still got what it takes to fight at the professional level.
You sparred with 2 heavyweights, and you whipped both their asses. Andre, you could make a comeback.
And how am I gonna do that?
With my help? I still want to be your manager, Andre. If you want to fight.
Of course he wants to fight. It's in his blood.
Gus!
I'm coming out of retirement too, kid.
Told you I'd change his mind.
Now competing at a heavyweight level. As Gus describes, it's just a different beast entirely from where he was. In real life boxing, 8 pounds is a massive difference that wins or loses fights. It's the biggest reason why there's so many weight classes. Cutting weight, the manipulation of body composition before a competition, gives the fighter the ability to rebound in weight, meaning you enter the competition heavier than your opponent. This is so incredibly important for victory that people risk their lives for this advantage. Andre, now working his way through the Mexican fighting circuit, runs into something scarier than anything in prison. A body puncher. Using Smoking Joe Frazier's signature fighting style of killing the body so the head will die. Body blows are all about sapping your strength and making you feel like you're in quicksand. Or, like in Hajime no Ippo, where you're trapped underwater sinking. It's all about weakening you to kill you in the later rounds. That's what happens to me. I can barely fight back, becoming so sluggish I'm unable to dodge or swing punches. It becomes almost impossible to even compete. So to combat this, you need to always be on the move. You can never, and I mean never, let him grab you or even get close.
Please stop. I can't let you get close.
Can you hear
Stick and move, get your points, get out. Any more than that and you will lose. The good thing about him looking for body shots and body shots alone is he is very susceptible to uppercuts. After the shit he put me through, it was so satisfying to watch his head snap back. Jabs, straights, uppercuts are the best tools for this fight. After dominating the Mexican fighting circuit, Megan wants to prove that her father set you up and gives you a chance to stand at the top of the world with the championship belt. But you still need to fight your way up the card, and it really doesn't help that during your first fight back in the States, you break your hand and have to win with just one hand. Yeah, this is hard, But they say to be a champion, you need to have a strong left jab. The next fight is all about proving you're healthy, knocking this jabroni out with your healed right hand. It's not that hard, but you do need to prove to the world that you are championship material. The next bout is an ordeal early on. You receive a nasty cut over your right eye. Remember before how I talked about abusing cuts and swelling? Well, Karma's a bitch and she's on heat. Not only must you survive, you need to win. Don't get hit. Finally, Andre is getting an easy opponent. All he needs to do is work his body and he'll fall faster than... Hey! What the fuck? Whatever. Just work the body. Seriously, what the fuck? He's a cheater. He paid off the ref, or at least somebody paid off the ref. McQueen? So you're forced to win without attacking the body. This is like playing Mortal Kombat without a low attack. That's right, in this fight, you can't mix this guy without having points deducted, or, worse yet, being disqualified. So you may have to utilize counterpunching, or opening up his guard through combos to win. It sucks, but it's doable. With this win, Andre has made it to the top 10. Andre is almost there, almost ready to fight the champion, but there's one man in his way for a title shot. Raymond Bishop. Andre doesn't exactly have the drive to destroy his brother's dream.
Brian Kenny back here on Friday Night Fights. A shocking turn of events in the battle between the Bishop brothers this past weekend, as Raymond knocks out his older brother, Andre. Andre was unable to beat the count after a big right hand from Big Baby in the second round. The stage is now set for a heavyweight showdown between Raymond Bishop and the champion, Isaac Frost.
But don't worry, heavyweight champion Isaac Frost sure will. The fight is so one-sided that we don't even get to play as Raymond. You get one round to knock him out, and it's pretty easy, honestly. Andre Bishop is willing to do anything to get his revenge against Isaac Frost. With Megan's help, he might just get it.
Hey, Bishop, he doesn't have anything I want.
Everybody wants this fight to happen.
I don't. Candace, could you send Franco to escort my daughter out? Good night, Megan.
Good night, DL.
If I'm going down for the Bishop job, you're going with me. You gave the order.
What the hell are you talking about?
Your daughter just told me that I'm going down for setting up Bishop? How does she even know about that?
Down. She doesn't know anything.
Excuse me. I forgot my phone.
If I'm going down for the Bishop job, you're going with me.
I believe Andre Bishop has something you want.
Megan, you can't do this. Megan! Megan!
With Megan's help, Andre has been given the opportunity to clear his name and fight for the heavyweight championship of the world against one of the strongest heavyweight champions of all time. See, Frost is a mixture of Muhammad Ali and Mike Tyson. Fast, tall, powerful. This is considered to be one of the hardest boss fights in all of gaming, making Mike Tyson from Mike Tyson's Punch-Out look like a Boy Scout. Isaac Frost is the personification of fuck around and find out. The fight is broken up into 3 separate, difficult segments. The first few rounds just ask you to survive Isaac Frost's violent onslaught until he gets a little, I repeat, a little tired.
Good work, kid. Beautiful work. Like we talked about. He's slowing down a bit. So let's help him out a little. What do you say? I want you to go downstairs and give him some power shots now. I want you to chop that wood for 3 rounds. Got it? Knock the air out of his lungs. 3 rounds. Power shots. Pound that body. You got it?
I got it. Pound that body.
Good man.
After the first 3 rounds, he'll be more open to body blows to further tire him out. I got knocked out a lot here. I was here for a long time. I may have started watching something else while I was recording, and OBS may have picked it up.
Once you begin using the magic, it's so powerful, you can't escape from its temptation.
Oh, you wonderful bitch!
Trying to get in on this thick, tall bitch can be devastating, so stick and move. You have 3 rounds to work with, so be patient. Finally, after all the hard work you've put in, you are given the privilege of fighting this monster like it's a real match.
He spent a lot of energy trying to take you out.
Yeah? Still seems like he's got a bit left.
Yeah? Well, you got more. You got more energy. You got more power. And you got more heart. God, you got more heart than any other fighter I've ever known. Now, you turn it up. You take the fight to that fucker and he won't know what hit him. This is your fight now, Andre. Take it to him.
That's all you had to say, Gus.
That doesn't mean it's any easier, just that you have a chance. Good thing this is the only fight that has a checkpoint midway through, because even on normal, this is almost impossible without them. Thank God I switched to normal.
Bishop lands another combination. Kenny Frost looks tired.
Frost has never been in this situation.
Big one shot. And Frost goes down. Frost has never been down. The heavyweight champion of the world is on the canvas. Can he beat the count? Frost trying to get up. He goes down again. It's all over. It's all over. There's a new heavyweight champion of the world, and his name is Andre Bishop.
While technically the story of Fight Night Champion is nothing special, it goes out of its way to establish everything that makes boxing what it is. The great personalities, the will to win, the high-level techniques and strategies used in all fights, and, of course, the corruption. You get to experience it all firsthand as Andre Bishop, a man that wouldn't let anyone or anything beat him, overcoming everything, becoming champion. With Undisputed around the corner, the new Fight Night wannabe, disappointingly the game probably won't have Ving Rhames, Wesley Snipes, Michael J. White, or Scott Adkins. I mean, at least not yet. No matter how good the game looks or even is, it's still no substitute for what Fight Night created. Even if I hope I'm wrong and Undisputed lives up to the hype, I just doubt it.
We had a deal. You gave me your word. She didn't give you my word. You had no idea who you were fucking with.
DL! You better get me out of this! Hey! You better...